How can you tell if a Thai spell working? If you've wondered this, surely you have commissioned someone make a spell of love for you, or you are experiencing with your own recipes of love ties. Here we will see how to tell if a spell is working, fast, effective and simple. Know if a love spell is working. Signals. It is difficult to tell you exactly what are the signals, because in all cases are different. What happens to a person will not happen necessarily to another. It depends on the circumstances and the people involved. I can tell you that the majority of people have experienced, and perhaps that will give you an idea of what are the signs that you have to search to find out if your spell for love running. The most common side effect of any spell is a feeling of happiness, usually from the moment that the spell has been completed, that lasts for several days or weeks. Even if the spell was released about another person, you are directly involved and you can feel the energy of the spell. The majority of love spells are cast to make a particular person will fall in love with you, to make them think of you constantly and develop deep feelings for you. It is possible for you to experience the same feelings too, since the spell can operate in both at the same time. If you're feeling more intense emotions and you cannot get to remove the person from your thoughts, then the spell most likely is having the same effect on both. Matches are also a very common sign that the spell works as planned. The tie of love brings the two closer to each other, and this can be seen in many different ways, such as send an email or called you at the same time or found unexpectedly. If you're very intuitive also you can perceive messages in dreams, or even in songs and television shows. Personally, I don't believe in coincidences. All these things are signs and messages, and it is important to pay attention and take them seriously. The more you can recognize messages that will give you more posts you will receive. It is very difficult to see the effects of the spell of love is having on the other person, until they start to show how they feel. The spell works in the mind and the heart people, and until they do not show their feelings, it may not be clear as well that the spell has worked. The first sign of real progress is usually an increase in contact with the person. This can be discussed via email, phone, text message, or a visit in person. You may notice that the person you are looking more than normal, or acting strangely. It is very common that the person is a little confused at first, since they may not be aware of why suddenly they feel so strongly attracted to you, and this can be a little scare. They can be very careful at a time and keeping the distance to the next. This is normal and temporary. When the spell works, of course, you will know it. You will definitely get the results you were looking for, or will receive something even better than what you asked for. Either way, you'll be delighted with the result. I am very interested in hearing about the experiences of each one, what are the signs that has received, and how they feel during this process. It is useful for me to know these things, so you and others can help in the future sharing their experiences by leaving a comment on how to tell if a love spell is working, in this blog. Other ways to tell if a tie is working. Check out the calendar. Some spells take the lunar month, or 28 days, to enter into force. In addition, the phase of the moon at the time of the spell will have some influence on the effectiveness of the spell and the overall result, depending on what was expected of the spell. Perform a divination. Use a deck of cards or a pendulum to ask higher powers or your angels about the progress of the spell. Ask about the state of the current situation, as well as the things you can do to make the spell work to the fullest. Pay attention to the environment, Often, when the spell is in progress, the universe sends signals, signs and omens for the conjured spell. The patterns presented as information available related to the status of the situation in question. In addition, having a diary of dreams will help you to save more information that can be easily received by the subconscious mind. Re-examine the spell. If it has been more than 1 month without visible results, it may be necessary to reformulate the spell. The spell evaluates and determines what may be necessary to change in order to achieve the desired result. Evaluate the final goal of the spell. A spell that had a too vague approach is less likely to be effective than one with a very specific goal. Keep reading more of White Magic and Magic for Love in this blog. Stay connected and remind to share your knowledge in your social networks.